welcome back to Brainwashed. If you're new here, welcome to the family. I have a very special guest with me today. Guess what's your name?
Tiffany.
Hello, Tiffany. I have known Tiffany, I don't even know how long. Like
A very long time.
a really long time. So long, I can't even remember, honestly. I know that we were at least 5, maybe even younger.
Yeah.
So pretty much all our lives. But Tiffany is, as you guys know, I'm a counselor or a therapist, whatever you want to call it. Tiffany is a social worker, and so I just thought that, spending a little time educating our friends, especially our Black and brown friends, that social work is not just snatching up your kids from an unfit home.
No.
And I just want to spend some time today educating. So, Tiffany, now that we know your name and your profession, if you're cool letting us know how old you are.
I am 26.
26. I knew that. I just wanted y'all to know that. Okay, so you're a social worker. What interested you in that field?
Well, growing up, I have always been a person that everybody always came and talked to about their problems. And I didn't know why I would be the person that they would come talk to, but I was like, hey, okay.
I can relate.
So literally, in high school, church friends, everybody would come talk to me about whatever they were going through at that time. And so I was always somebody that they could talk to about their problems. Not only that, when I was in high school and middle school, I was bullied as a kid. And so I always felt that I wanted somebody else to have somebody that they can confide into and talk to, that they may not have at home or in their support system. And so not only did people come to me and talk to me, but I also wanted to be able to share my experience with other people.
I love it. I love it. You know what is crazy to me is that I wasn't expecting everybody used to come and tell me about their problems, because usually that's something like my profession, like a counselor or a psychologist, psychiatrist would say. And I've never heard that from a social worker. It's usually like either a traumatic experience and they wanted to like help people get resources, and like prevention is really big in social work. And so that's cool. I love that. Okay, so I don't really know why I just popped my tongue like that, but anyways, social work, what is it to you? Like, I know there are 3 levels. Can you educate the folks on the macro, micro? Is it meso?
So there's 3 levels. There is micro level, which just works with the individual. So it could just be me and you working together. There's a meso level, which works with groups, and groups can include families. And that could be you doing group counseling with a group of teens or a group of 5th graders, or working within a family within their home. And then you have macro, which macro is community. So I could be working in the community. If there's a community organization that helps with homeless, that would be macro level. So you would work with people within the community to meet the needs of the people in the community.
So I have another friend that's a social worker. She lives in the DMV area. I want to say Maryland, but she worked with policy change. Is that macro?
Yes.
Okay.
Policy change is macro. That's more so working with policy stakeholders, trying to figure out ways to improve policies, maybe take away policies that aren't very effective or beneficial to people in the community. Me personally, I don't know if I would do policy, because that's just not my thing. But that is macro.
Okay, cool. So, have you had experiences in one or more of the levels of social work?
Yes, I have. I have a lot of experiences. So I would say I've worked a lot with the meso level.
Okay.
So I have worked with youth villages, and youth villages have different branches that they work up under, but I personally was in the group home. And so the group home consisted of up to 8 young adolescent female girls, where I worked with them on basic daily living activities: making your bed, brushing your teeth, washing dishes, cleaning the kitchen floor, mopping, sweeping. So in the group home, that was essentially their living quarters, and so I helped them learn those different basic tasks that they normally wouldn't know how to do. I've also worked with women who's been incarcerated. I've worked with women who were addicts to drugs, alcohol, heroin, all types of stuff. One of my biggest experiences that I will forever remember was working with women who were victims of sex trafficking.
Wow.
So that was a very challenging experience, and that is something that I will forever remember. Also working with that population, I also got to talk with the director of the organization I cannot name because it is a safe space, and I do not want to give out the confidentiality of that area. But I have worked with that director on the Centoya Brown case. Wow. And so she informed me that she was one of the main policy advocates of working with her to make sure she gets off, because she actually was a victim of sex trafficking. So I've had some
my mind is blown right now. Like, I knew she was doing work, but this girl is working. Jeez.
Yes. So I've actually had an experience working within that agency where one of the victims actually saw her John, and I had to try to get her back.
What's a John?
So, okay, for those who don't know, I'm so sorry. A John is considered a pimp. So basically, they require the female to do things in relation for sex or for money. And so this particular woman has all her John. I had to take her to NAAA meeting because she just came into the program, and she saw her John. She got really freaked out. She got scared. And so I'm trying to get her back to safety. Long story short, we're driving back to the location, and she jumps out the vehicle. And I was like, oh my goodness, what do I do?
Yeah.
So I tried to call all my people. Nobody was answering the phone.
Of course.
I was like, this is so traumatic.
Yeah.
But when it all boiled down to it, I got back to the location. They were like, it's okay. This program is voluntarily. We don't force anybody to stay here. If that's her choice, that's her choice. So then the next day, I ended up talking with her, and she was like, hey, I'm so sorry that I did that. I was just completely scared. I was like, I understand, but I gotta keep you safe. So I have had my fair share of experiences with different populations. So.
Man, I was not prepared, y'all. I told her what we were going to talk about, and she never told me like what she was going to. I don't even know if she was ready to share that, but no, that's crazy. So I don't have this question on there, but like, I'm curious to know about how you take care of yourself, because burnout is so real in the social sciences and in the medical field too. But like, I'm not saying more so than the medical field, but I'm kind of biased, probably more so, because hey, it's important. Not that that's what it's about.
Yeah.
But the stuff that we experience and see,
there's
no amount of pay that can compensate for that. But anyways, how do you take care of yourself with things like that?
So for that particular issue, I was in grad school at the time, and so I'm like understanding and learning about you know, my education and what we're learning, and I'm learning different ways to self-care. And actually, I spoke with my supervisor at that time, what can I do to self-care? Because I knew about self-care, but I didn't really know that much about self-care. And so, you know, she was like, she gave me the self-care wheel that focuses on physical, emotional, social, spiritual. And so I took that wheel and I just kind of wrote down different things that I could do in that moment. And so some of the things that I like to do that I still do now, I still journal. Journal is something that I do every single day.
Wow.
And if I do skip a day, I make sure I do it the next day. It just allows me to get my thoughts out on paper. Because sometimes people ask, how are you feeling? What are you doing? I can't really tell them in words how I'm feeling. So I put that on paper. Music is just my go-to for everything. Yes. So I listen to all types of music that usually calms me with whatever I'm going through or feeling at that time. Sometimes I take walks. Walks are very therapeutic. It allows you to escape from where you are currently, just to walk and just look at the nature and the beauty. And so I also do that as well. But those are 3 things that I do consistently, and I find that very helpful. So
good. You know, I appreciate those answers, and because whenever I'm asked that, I'm just like, no, go get a manicure, pedicure, or a massage. But no, really, like I for my self-care, like I think I said this on my Get to Know Me tag, that I'm primarily introverted, and so like being alone is self-care for me. Like I could literally spend a weekend not talking to anybody in my bed. I mean, of course I shower and eat, but like I'd be so content and just like I feel so refreshed after that. So
because we're always around people, so it's kind of like
and even like in this pandemic time for me, I'm doing everything remote. So even though I spend my time talking to people all day, after that I'm not trying to talk to nobody else.
No. We talk all day.
All day.
So
that's awesome. Okay. The next question is, what are you doing right now? What are you pursuing professionally or academically?
So, this literally just happened probably the beginning of June. So my dream job has always been to be a school social worker. So to go back to her point, social work is not us removing kids from people's homes. Social work can be compensated in so many different areas. We work within hospitals, nursing homes, schools, law enforcement, the government, the courts. We're everywhere. And so my dream job was to be a school social worker. And what we do within the school system is we work with students and families to best meet their needs within the school. Because sometimes some of students' needs can affect them educationally. So if a kid has parents who are about to get a divorce, or if a new baby comes along with their step parent and that's affecting them, or if they've experienced trauma, all of those things can impact a student's educational learning. So as social workers, we're there to help them be able to process through that while also getting an education. And so in order for me to be a school social worker, there were some requirements, and so I had to take the school social work class, and so I just finished that. And
literally a few days ago.
Literally. And I made an A on everything, which I'm so grateful. And then after that, I had to apply to the Board of Education to become a LSSW, which is a licensed school social worker. So literally all of this just happened within the last month. So I'm waiting to hear back from that. And I just recently received an offer for a job at a school. So like that is where I am currently. I'm pursuing what I've always wanted to do, which is a social work job. So.
That is amazing. At only 26, we're making dreams come true.
Yes.
But God.
Yep. You're not too old, you're not too young.
Absolutely. Okay, so one of the reasons why I reached out to Tiffany, outside of just educating on what social work can look like or what it is for those that are unaware, she posted something about an event that I just thought was really cool. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even read the caption. I just saw the pictures and I was like, that looks like it was so much fun. And I was like, I love helping people and like, this was cool. So what was the event? What was the name of it? How did you get involved? Like, just share that with us.
Okay, so I met this young lady. She's phenomenal. When I was here in Murfreesboro, I actually met her at a baby shower. I don't know how that happened.
Gotta be placing people's wear, girl. Gotta be placing people.
But
everywhere.
yeah, we met at a baby shower. I'm also a talkative person, so I can meet anybody, anywhere. But I met her at this baby shower, and you know, we just got to talking, and she just kind of expressed that she had this ministry, and it was called From Your Father. And I was like, okay, I've never heard of this. What is this? So From Your Father is actually a nonprofit Christian organization that works to help support individuals within the community who may not have a lot or who may be less fortunate. And so at first their goal or their aim or their target was with the homeless population. Mm-hmm. So what they did prayer in the park for probably about 2 to 3 years. Wow. Where they partnered with other organizations and they provided socks, they provided clothing, they provided toiletry items, they gave them food. And so it was just a space where we can praise, we can pray with these individuals, we can give them the necessities that they need that they didn't have. Mm-hmm. And so I think it probably might have been a year back, she said the Lord kind of gave her a different vision. Mm. And so that vision shifted to them working with single mothers. Mm. And so now their goal is they've been working with single mothers. Every month they go out, they have different volunteers that go out and give these single mothers boxes of essential items. So diapers, formula, toilet paper, toilet tissue, body wash, deodorant, razors, whatever they need. Mm-hmm. That's what they give. And I'm actually the volunteer for Clarksville. Since I live in Clarksville, I go and I give out boxes to the single mothers in Clarksville. They're called Go Love boxes. And so with everything that's going on in the world with Black Lives Matter and, you know, all these Black people getting killed, women, men, boys, girls, she said the Lord also gave her a vision to do something for the men in the Nashville community. Mm-hmm. And so the Lord gave her this event called You Matter. And so You Matter was basically just to tell all the Black men, whether they're a boy, whether they're an adult, whether they're elderly, like, hey, you matter. You matter to us, you matter to the Father, you matter. Yeah. And so this event was where, since we're in quarantine and COVID, where they would drive up and they had different volunteers place their orders. So they had an option of barbecue, Cajun seafood, it was Cajun chicken on potatoes with corn, and then they had a choice of the chicken shack. And so they got to pick whatever they wanted. And mind you, all these meals were free. They did not have to pay for it. And so they drove up, they gave the volunteer what they wanted to eat. And so at each location, they had another volunteer that would give them the box of food. Mind you, all this food is hot. It's not cold, it's hot. and they'll give them a box of food with water. And each car had probably 2 or 3 men in each car. And so every time a volunteer will go up to the car and give them the food, they're like, is this really for me? And it just made us all think. A lot of times men in the community, or men in general, they don't receive gifts because they're always the breadwinners, they're always the protectors, the providers, they're always doing what they can for their families. And so they were very grateful and appreciative of everything that we did. And they also got a bag that said "You Matter" on it. And they got deodorant. They got some body wash. And they got a shirt that said "You Matter" on it. And then on the back, it had all their sponsors.
Wow.
Yeah.
Come through Target, Tips Treats,
Yeah.
Pleasant Green Baptist Church, Liberty, Party Rental, Impact, Jackson Designs, La Marvelous, Batch Nashville, Home of Hope Nashville, Life and Lamb Printing, Take Heed Media, Theta Phi Sigma Sorority. Wow.
Yep. So all of them got one of those.
That's a lot of support.
A lot of support. A lot.
Man. I am shaking, y'all. I had no idea that any of this was like going to like be shared, but I am so grateful.
Yes. And so then I also have an amazing friend. Her name is, we call her CC for short. She has an organization called Mental Moments. And so she created affirmations to the Black King from a Black Queen.
Wow. And
these are just affirmations to affirm to all Black men that they matter. And so some of them were, you're fearfully and wonderfully made, you're empowered, your life matters, you make me proud, you're an alpha male, you're needed, I love you, I value you. So these are just some affirmations that were presented in all the bags. And From Your Father also had these little cards, and it says "You Matter" on the back. And they provided them a scripture that says, "Now this is what the Lord says, do not be afraid, because I have reclaimed you. I have called you by name. You are mine." Isaiah 43:1.
Amen.
And so these are all the little tokens that was given to all the men this particular day. And all the men, like I said, were very, very appreciative. And I've been a volunteer with this organization for probably 2 years now, maybe 3. And every time I go and participate, I always gain something different. And so this time I was able to see that all these men felt loved just by the small thing that we did, like feeding them, giving them free food in a bag with toiletry items. So.
That is like, I did not expect any of this, so this is like real time reactions. And I know that I'm not like, oh my God, because that's not who I am as a person, but like I am really like excited on the inside. That is so amazing. Tiffany, I want to thank you so much for your time and your willingness to share with the people, like all of the people, not that this is going to go viral or anything, but like, but the people that are willing to watch. And I think hopefully somebody will be educated about what social work is and how it looks differently in different areas and things like that. That was pretty much the goal, but I also wanted to share about the event as well. And so I'm going to put in the description below Tiffany's Instagram information. Is there an Instagram for the organization you're a part of?
Yes. So if you would like to follow that organization, they're always doing wonderful stuff. They're always in need for volunteers. So you can follow them on Instagram at From Your Father, Facebook at From Your Father.
Okay. We're going to put that in the description below as well. I want to thank you guys for your time. Thanks for stopping by Brainwashed. We love you. Peace out.
See ya.